Good morning, it's me, Luna, and welcome back to Creepypasta Radio. I'm here to tell you a story. A very nicely, well-written story. That last one, it was alright. It wasn't as scary as I would have hoped it to be, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Or do you? Nah, no seriousness though. One moment. Where is it? Alright, everybody. This pasta is called An Awkward First Date. I've always been the quiet one, the shy one, the one who never spoke up, the one who'd never talk back, even when I knew the person or persons talking to me were wrong. Thankfully, I was never bullied. Being invisible to others has its benefits. The only person to even notice me without getting their attention first was Margaret, the new girl. She looked plain to others, but by God, she looked perfect to me. Long blonde hair tied in a single ponytail with a white ribbon. No makeup or fancy clothes, just natural beauty. Of average height for a girl her age, average measurements too, if I dared to ask. I thought nothing of her besides from her glowing beauty. But something she did would forever make me want her from then on. She talked to me. "Hi, I'm Margaret. What's your name?" she asked so cheerfully. While it may have been common in other schools, most new kids who came here kept to themselves, and the fact that the first student she talked to would be me, the nobody, the one who was shy, quiet, the one who was ignored even by his own family. "Andy," I replied back hesitantly. "Nice to meet you." She extended her hand out to shake mine, which took me further by surprise. No one, and I do mean no one, ever wanted to shake my hand. It wasn't that people were afraid or grossed out by me, just that they never took the time to know me that well. Handshake may not seem like much to anybody else, but to me, it was a sign of acknowledgement. After our handshake, she turned her focus away from me and started to listen to what the math teacher was saying about how calculus has more to do with the workforce than what the students presumed. I didn't listen. I, for the rest of the class period, focused on her, the first girl to acknowledge me. Thankfully, I was invisible to others. Otherwise, they would have insulted me for looking right at her the way I did. Since then, I've always thought of her, even when attending the other classes that the school has saw fit to put me in, even when I was out of school and home alone. My parents were the party-going type. I rarely saw them, only in the mornings when they would hazily stumble out of their bedroom to make coffee and eat and go to their respective jobs, which they never explained to me. I sometimes wondered if they even had jobs, partying like they do every night. But they had to be getting that money somewhere, right? We never talked. They never took the time out of their busy lives to talk to their only son. From what I can tell, they don't hate me. They just don't seem to care. And besides from being my parents, had no reason to. I never caused or got in any trouble. All they would do is leave extra food for me to eat in the fridge and cabinets, so they did know I existed. Before turning 16 in 3 weeks, I always got babysitters to watch over me. I had all types, ranging from sweet to flat-out rude. But since I always stayed in my room, I never bothered them, so I never gave them a reason to bother me. I had no friends. I did try to make some last year when I moved to this quiet town in northern Michigan, but I'm just not an interesting person. I'm just shy and quiet. But it was okay. I never had any friends to begin with. My family ignored me, and so did my relatives whenever the rare opportunity came that they came over to visit. The teachers and authority figures never bothered to try to get to know me, besides from giving me my grades and assignments that they had to give to everyone. No one has ever tried to get to know me, to understand, to talk. And as I became a teenager, I had gotten used to it. But now, she acknowledged me. She shook hands with me. She introduced herself to me even before doing so with the others, even the teachers. I watched her. Whenever I could find her, I never took my eyes off her, if I could help it. Seeing her introduce herself to other people, making friends, even talking to the main jocks, it never bothered me. I'm not the jealous type, and was at first willing to share. 3 months had passed, and I was still awestruck whenever I saw her. The first thing that ever sparked my interest would always brighten my day whenever I'd hear her speak in that soft, cheerful voice. I wanted her. Call it an obsession, lust, longing. I don't care. I wanted her. The one and only thing that ever lightened my stale, boring life had come. No. She had to become a part of it permanently. I wasn't planning to force her in any way. I'm not that crazy. Since I've always heard that love is best when it occurs naturally. I need to find a way to make her feel the same way. But how? Then I saw it. Just a few feet from the love of my life. I saw it. And man, did it give me hope. It was the poster to promote the upcoming prom next week, which I've usually ignored, knowing that there was no point in me going. But because of Margaret, I wanted to. Because of her, I now have a goal, to be her date to prom. Because of that, I did something I haven't tried for many years when I was home. I talked to my parents. Mom? Yes, sweetie? She asked. Can you get me a tuxedo for the prom next week? I'm going to get a date. There should be one in the basement that used to be your cousin's, my mother replied. It should fit you just fine. Okay, thanks. Besides for the buildup of dust and having to brush off a cobweb, it did fit. It fit well. Besides from the bow tie, which was a light green, it was all black. I normally wouldn't have minded, but I wanted something to oppose the colors of her dress. I overheard her talking to a teacher about getting a yellow dress, and to me, brown is the opposite color. The reason why I wanted to wear opposite colors is that it'll clash with her chill personality. I know it doesn't make that much sense. I'm not too sure why I even thought that. Just spur of the moment. With that knowledge at hand, I wanted to know what I should get her. I have yet to ask her to go to the prom, and it was just 2 days away. I needed to get her something. Anything that would make her want to go to the prom with me. And something to help her understand, even a little, of how I felt. I thought of the color of the ribbon she wore the first day we've met, and figured I would give her a white rose tomorrow after school. But how to get it? Then, for the first time in my life, I had a crazy idea. Something that, if not for the love I was feeling for Margaret, I'd never dream of considering. So waiting till 7 p.m., I executed it. I took my father's keys to his Jeep. Besides from getting groceries, they never used it. Their friends always came to pick them up to go partying. If not, they'd get a cab. The keys were hidden in a compartment under their dresser, along with the other fun stuff that they should be thankful that I'd never turn them in for. I didn't know how to drive, but I've watched people in movies. It shouldn't be too hard, right? I knew where to go. I looked it up in the phone book. Just 12 miles east on the other side of town. The car was full of gas, so everything was good. I pulled out of the driveway with ease. It took me a few tries to turn the old vehicle around, but after knocking over a few trash cans, I did it. I heard my neighbors cuss me out, but I didn't care. The floral store was my destination, and nothing was going to stop me. Without hesitation, I stepped on the gas and floored it, going as fast as I could. Thankfully, this town was never busy at this time, so I didn't have to worry about crashing into obstacles, whether object or person. I didn't have to worry about the police stopping me for speeding and running stop signs. And the only 3 lights in town. They and the fire department were all preoccupied with the fire that I started back home. A few minutes prior to my destination, I stopped and hid in some overgrown bushes in the park, waiting for the fire alarms back at the house to alert them. And sure enough, I saw them drive by urgently to the destination that used to be my home. I didn't need a home. I could care less about my parents and what they thought. I didn't need material possessions or a home. All I needed was her. Despite the concern on the floral shop's owner's face over the fire across town, I managed to convince him they'd keep from closing the store for one last customer. I got the rose. It was cheaper than I thought it would be, though I was willing to spend as much as possible with my father's card, which was now mine to use until I saw fit. Deciding to park in and sleep in an abandoned barn house just a mile outside town, and thankfully fixing up the cooler in the trunk, I put the gift that would make Margaret mine forever gently in it, and slept in the back seat. Thank God I had an electric watch that had an alarm on it, otherwise I would have been late. Thank God the school was only 1.5 miles west from where I slept. I couldn't shower like usual, but I planned ahead, bringing deodorant along with clothes and saved up cash. I changed out of my tuxedo and folded it, placing it gently on the front seat to be used tomorrow. Walking briskly, it took about an hour to get there in good time. Just 10 minutes before school started. The school was abuzz over the fire and how it even spread across the yard and into the 2 next-door neighbor homes. It took the firemen 3 whole hours to put the whole thing out. I nearly laughed hearing that. I only used 3 gallons of gas that my dad had stored up in the garage closet. Though I did turn on the gas on the stove before lighting my room. It didn't take long for them to figure out whose house it was. Since my parents, besides from being beyond furious over being homeless, wanting to know where I was and if I was safe. Since when did they care? Because of their concern, the school, for the first time, wanted to know what happened, and actually had the nerve to come talk to me. Were you home when it happened? Where were you if you weren't home then? Was it intentional? Did you piss someone off? All such pathetic attempts to get info. I was disgusted, honestly, seeing them actually try to acknowledge me, seeing if I was okay, asking all kinds of questions, trying to figure out who or what started it, where I've been. It was so annoying. Are you okay? I recognized the voice coming from behind, while I was trying to eat right off the bat, as you'd expect. Hi, Margaret. How are you doing? People have been asking you the same thing all day. Your house burned down. Aren't you upset? Upset? Over what? She looked at me as if I'd lost my mind, which confused me slightly. And then she said, about your house burning down? Your stuff's all gone. I didn't want her to know how I felt about her just yet. And I needed some way to present I forgot the rose!